have much time.
Hey folks, welcome back. I'm your host, R.R. Slugger, and I hate modern Lego. Or at least, I think I give off that impression sometimes. While it's true that the design principles found in sets from 30 years ago are my true calling, that's not to say that I think modern Lego sets are bad or anything. I think they're fine. Some are even good. And a select few are great. I want to talk about those select few today. Let's start by defining modern. In the Lego sense, I think there's an indisputable demarcation that exists between 2003 and 2004. On one side of the line, we have classic colors, original IPs, brick-based construction, and a company trying new ideas to see what will stick. On the other side, we have updated colors, licensed IPs, plate-based construction, and a company falling into a rhythm that leads to consistent returns. This is an oversimplification, no doubt, but I think it's the obvious Rubicon to point to in LEGO's history that allows us to call the stuff over here vintage, and the stuff over here modern. Once the LEGO Group narrowly avoided bankruptcy in 2003 and completely restructured the following year, there was no going back to the sensibilities of yore, despite the grumblings of folks like myself. It certainly took some time for this change to take hold, however. A set from 2005 has a lot more in common with a set from 2003 than it does a set that came out in the year that you're watching this. Because of this, I'm gonna try to stick to talking about sets that came out within the last few years, rather than wax rhapsodic over 20-year-old toys. The people didn't come here to see me talk about Exoforce and call it a modern LEGO theme. I still consider it to be a part of LEGO's modern era, but that's the thing. An era is a long span of time, and often it requires a fair bit of distance from the inciting incident to define. I think there's room to debate my definition here, but LEGO's modern era did not begin in the last 10 years, I can tell you that much. That's just recency bias talking. Anyways, now that we've set the stage, let's get to it. What are some recent modern LEGO sets that I consider to be truly great? Well, it will come at no surprise that I place the Galaxy Explorer remake pretty high on this list. A truly spectacular building experience and a gorgeous final product in any of the orientations you choose to build it in. This is a hidden 3-in-1 set, and we have Mike Psyche to thank for lobbying internally to make sure this one came out as great as it did. Now, to be fair, this one feels a bit like a cop-out, given that it was designed specifically to call back to the limited color palettes of vintage LEGO. The Galaxy Explorer was created to pander to someone like myself, and it worked. Is it representative of the typical fare we'll find elsewhere in modern LEGO? No, absolutely not. Does that stop it from being a great modern LEGO set? Same answer. I'll continue and sing the praises of other massive LEGO sets, like Pirates of Barracuda Bay or the Icons DeLorean, both of which I really love, but that too feels like a cop-out to me. These sets have thousands of pieces to work with. If they can't churn out something great with that, then something has gone horribly wrong. Moreover, it shouldn't take 1,000 pieces to make a great LEGO set. I want to highlight some more smaller or mid-size sets that do a lot with a lot less. A favorite of mine is 60387 4x4 Off-Roader Adventures from 2023. With a suspension mechanism that wants for nothing, this is probably the most fun I've had with a modern LEGO toy, possibly ever. With a new coat of paint and a little more style, this could have easily been part of an Extreme Team reboot or spiritual successor. It's got that potential, no doubt. As is, though, it's just one in an endless sea of retired city sets, forgotten unless we remember them. Another such example worth remembering is 60324 Mobile Crane from 2022. This model is actually built using a lot of brick-based construction, which is a welcomed change to break up the hypergranularity seen most elsewhere in LEGO's recent repertoire. With an intricate and well-engineered play feature, this model honestly knocks the snot out of the LEGO construction sets I grew up with. The mobile crane is a fantastic example of what modern LEGO City is able to achieve when it's put in capable hands. Whose hands am I referring to? Well, that would have to be Robert Heim, who is responsible for a lot of the best sets to come out in the last few years. However, it was Robert's mock work that really impressed me the most. So creative and inventive. It's honestly a little heartbreaking to see this level of imaginative design reduced down to a product that will sell on store shelves. This is the LEGO space I've been dreaming of. Let Robert design his own space theme. I'm begging you. LEGO has the talent working for them right now. Use it! You maniac! Well, speaking of space, I guess I should talk about the more recent city excursions in that department. Even though I have an ad hoc trilogy of videos dedicated to explaining why this new city space stuff just isn't what I want it to be, that doesn't mean I think they're awful sets. I wouldn't have bought them all if I didn't like them. Of them all, I think the Space Explorer rover and the Interstellar spaceship come the closest to greatness. They stop well short of reaching the potential of LEGO Space, but I'm glad Robert finally got his chance to design a rover. Hopefully next time he won't have to do it with so many restrictions. Recently, I picked up some of his latest works, only just released earlier this month. 60466 Bulldozer and 60467 Tow Truck might be lacking for naming originality, but they make up for this with their top-of-the-line design work. The tow truck is a little over-engineered for my tastes. Alright, that's a lie. It's way over-engineered, but the construction vehicle included in the same set is pretty nifty. It's got a solid tipper play feature, and I enjoy that the bed is brick-built. It reminds me of construction sets of long ago. By far, though, Robert Heim's latest masterpiece is this massive bulldozer. Consisting of over 600 pieces, it's got a real heft to it. The bucket and ripper can both be raised and lowered, and the engine block within features pistons that are moved by rolling the vehicle along. This is LEGO City firing on all cylinders. So, in total, there's still a lot to love within modern LEGO, even for a slug like me. The tenets of vintage LEGO, simpler color palettes, angular design language, and a focus on rebuildability are likely always going to be my preference when it comes to this toy. However, these tenets come with trade-offs, and sometimes the grass does look a little greener to me. For instance, by ditching back-of-the-box alternate builds, LEGO designers now have only one model to focus on making great, rather than 4 or 5. This shift in priorities has undoubtedly led to stronger main models, especially evident within recent years. If you ask me, the best of the best also shed the whole side build or conflict in a box angle too. In my opinion, modern LEGO is at its absolute best when it uses its vast part catalog with an unfettered focus on delivering one rock-solid build. But that's just me. What are your thoughts? All of this talk about modern LEGO has me rethinking the title of this video. There we go. In fact, I bought so much modern LEGO recently that the employees at the store gave me this gift with purchase. Thanks for watching, everyone. This video was brought to you by the folks who support me during the Summer of Slug, especially those subscribed to my Only Slugs tier. Folks like Kelton Davis, who is a fellow hater of modern LEGO. I'm just kidding. Kelton has an amazing YouTube channel dedicated to talking about vintage LEGO sets. I recommend checking it out. Mason, who has been working for several years now teaching English to non-native speakers. From one teacher to another, keep up the great work. Ghost on the Aux, an awesome podcast discussing music and audio production. I've guest starred in an episode before, but keep your eyes peeled for more. Des for, like that Rush album, Des for Echo. If you're looking for a good track to listen to from that one, check out The Color of Right. Shoshka, who would probably appreciate a Metal Gear Solid quote or two. You're pretty good. Kept you waiting, huh? Or, I used to be an anime otaku. Blood Gear 14 AD, who has an utterly massive Heroescape collection, proving once and for all that you can't have too much of a good thing. Good Tofu Friday, who, get this, doesn't actually enjoy eating tofu all that much. I know, I was surprised too. Lua, who has perhaps the most in-depth Power Racers and Power Miners videos on YouTube. Definitely worth checking out if either series interests you. And lastly, Zane, who contributed greatly to making one of my best videos in recent memory. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. Go watch it now! These folks, and many more, deserve our thanks for making the summer of Slug a reality. If you'd like to pitch in and show your support, the links are in the video description. I've been your host, RR Slugger, and I'll see you next time for another video.